What is going on, guys, and welcome to episode 19 of the Listen Whilst You Step podcast. Today, I'm joined by two very special guests. We have Ryan and Ellie Hodgson on the show. I went on their podcast, it's probably a few months ago now, was it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
That's disappeared. That's scary.
Yeah.
They're two guys that I've looked up to in the industry. Being in Jersey, they were the real deal. You had Fit Body Bootcamp and things like that, and lots of things that have come after that. So I won't kind of give you guys too much of an intro. I'll let you intro yourself. Do you want to give the guys a kind of heads up who you are, what you do, and welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for the kind words. Really appreciate that. I think Ellie and I, we're obviously business coaches. We've got two kids. We've got basically our life, husband and wife. we're just best friends, and like we're running a business coaching people online. We have a boot camp as well, and we've recently launched a health club as well, which will open when restrictions ease as well. So we just love helping people with lifestyle. We want to be lifestyle coaches as opposed to specific fitness.
Yeah, and I think like for us, we wanted to provide a service where we could say to our clients, we get it. We get, your struggles, your lifestyle, that balance sometimes, whether it's work and family life, we want it to be able to be relatable too. And I think that's something that's really important to us.
Yeah, 100% is leading from the front and leading by example. I would say I would never make my clients do anything that I wouldn't do or haven't done.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of coaches out there that don't do that.
Yeah, we have like these two rules in it. One of them is exactly what you just said there. We wouldn't get our clients to do something we wouldn't do. And then the other one is we wouldn't get our clients to do something that we wouldn't let our kids do in years to come. I think at the moment in the industry, there's a lot of things out there where people are being led a little bit astray. And we always think if we wouldn't let our girls do it when they're a little bit older, we won't be preaching it.
Yeah. And that they'll be taking over the business soon, I think, by the
definitely,
Love it. That kind of leads me on to the kind of topic I wanted to talk about today. And obviously, you guys have got two kids, you've got a cool dog, you run your own business. I know you've both competed in bodybuilding shows in the past and things like that. How'd you do it? How'd you manage to fit everything in?
Magic.
Yeah. Ta-da.
I think for us is one of the biggest things that we've been away at various seminars. We've been and met with some of the world's top fitness professionals. And the biggest thing what we found they always had was a good morning routine to set themselves up from the very start. So I would say that would be the main thing that we would start with is for people that always say have that story that they're busy, they're too busy, they don't have time, would be you need to set yourself a good morning routine. Routine is the most important factor from the very get-go.
And I think as well, like when it comes to like our goals, where even if they're short term or if they're long term, there's always been like a purpose behind them. And that reason was always like a long-term feel-good factor. So it was always like health and happiness. And for us, we've always said to ourselves, it's got to fit our lifestyle because like you said, we have kids, we've got our work. So we have our priorities and those priorities can't be sacrificed. And so no matter what we do, we go, okay, well, how can we fit it into our lifestyle? How can we make sure that we're not compromising our health and how we're not compromising our happiness as well? So it sounds mad, but we keep it simple and basic, really.
That's the trick of the trade, isn't it? Keep it as simple as you possibly can.
Yeah, I think we hear a lot is like, I want to lose weight, but, and I think that's where it goes wrong, where people have a but and they try to justify why they're not working towards it. And often it comes down to recognizing and connecting, like Ellie said, with that why a little bit deeper. And that's where, like for us, our why, everything we do tends to fall to our two girls. So it's like, well, why are we trying to grow this business based on passion? Well, why we'll end up with us wanting to show our girls that they can live and have a job what they enjoy. That's our why for that. When it comes to our body, we want to show our girls that they can have a busy lifestyle, they can be running around, having a successful business, but keep in shape.
Yeah, 100%. That's huge. And I think it's such an important thing to get crystal clear on that. Why so many people go, oh yeah, I want to lose a bit of body fat. Why? I want to be more confident. It's so easy to say. The magical question I ask everyone, what's confidence to you?
Yes. Love that.
Because what you guys think confidence is and what I think confidence is and what the next person think confidence is, it's a completely different thing. Some people it's very internal, some people it's very external. But if you can get clear on that, then that why gets us stronger and it just gets you to kind of dig that little bit of a layer below. But Ellie, you mentioned kind of setting, it sounds like you guys set some real like non-negotiables. What are some of the non-negotiables that you guys set to help you kind of be nice and productive and get things done?
So family meals is a big thing for us. So our non-negotiables that we're always going to sit down and have that family meal. And that's one thing that we find with our clients is they think they can't have a family meal. So we say, sit down with your family, and that it doesn't, like, you can still sit down and enjoy your family meal. You can all eat the same meal. It doesn't mean that you are not working towards your goals. So that's one thing for us. We sit down together, we talk, we try and switch off. That's like a huge one for us. Another one is for me that I'm active during the day, not only just from a physical point of view, but my non-negotiable is that I'm doing it because it helps me mentally as well. Because I know, especially right now, I can't go to the gym. So for me, activity levels are something that keeps me going, keeps me passionate, it keeps my mind focused on what I want as well. So it gives me that clarity. So they're definitely at the top.
Yeah, the other non-negotiables, hydration. I think so many people neglect looking at their hydration levels. Obviously, it's going to benefit them from a performance as well. You know, we've got a society now where a lot of people are working from home. They're missing general cue times where they would be drinking. They're just sat in their kitchen working all day. It's easy to then just find they're picking on food without thinking, actually, am I just thirsty, or can I break that habit by increasing my water intake? And you know, we've done water challenge with our clients, and the difference they felt just by drinking what they should be drinking anyway. We're like, this is not like a magic thing. It's like hydration makes a huge difference to how you're going to feel. So I think hydration is obviously a big one. We try to hit 3 liters a day as a minimum, and that's another one. Another one is journaling. Huge fans of doing that in the morning. So even though our girls, and we get a lot of parents say, I can't do it in the morning, my kids wake up early. If our kids wake up early, we get them distracted for 10 minutes, and I don't feel bad saying it now, and we'll go back and journal, because that helps us take control of our day. We align ourselves with our goals. We then recognize what are 3 things that we want to do today that we'll call a successful day. And they might be related to our work, they might be related to our body, or the kids.
Yeah, massive. I think the journaling's a super interesting one. I always think if you look after you first, you're in a better position to look after others. 100%. And that's where I think people go wrong, is they think, oh, I've got to look after everyone, got to look after everyone, got to look after everyone. Yeah. If your, say, body's not 100%, so let's just take someone's exams, for example. Like, I've got to go all in on doing my exams. I can't do anything else, right? Yeah, but you're now neglecting your body. That's only performing at 70%. You're neglecting your mental health. That's only performing at 70%. You can't give 100% if those two are at 70%.
Yeah, and that's what people don't realize. It's like with work as well. Right now, people, they're working performance, they haven't got their balance. If they're working from home, it's like that work-life balance is gone. So we're like to them, look, you need to get these productivity breaks into your day. Go for a walk, go around the block. I can't. Well, you can't be productive that 12 hours a day, at your laptop, because your brain needs a break, your body needs a break. You need to feel really good as well. And if you're neglecting the activity side, you're not going to feel good.
Yeah, 100%. Do you guys know Joe Parrish?
No.
So I've just started working with Joe Parrish. He's coaching me, and he names himself the coach's coach. And his whole thing is body, business, brain, and balance. Very catchy. But he's like, people say they'll go in on one of those and neglect the other 3. So if you can have balance in all those there, and then you can relate it to kind of more everyday people who don't necessarily have their abilities. You go physique, performance, personal, professional.
No.
Or P's.
Yeah.
It's similar to we use 4 B's, but we don't use balance. It's always besties. It's funny. It's interesting. We never heard anyone, but yeah, I do think it's important for us is having goals in all 4 areas. And sometimes, yes, you may push on a little bit more with, like you said, their professional exams, but that doesn't mean you should be neglecting your loved ones who are around you. Or like, it's the same when you're dieting. We've done bodybuilding, and it's a very selfish sport, and we saw the negative impact it had on our besties, which they're there through everything. So it's important to recognize that we set them. It's also last year we pushed hard with work, that we neglected our relationship, we just became besties, and and it was important for us to try this year is more about trying to make that connection to be husband and wife again,
date nights, even if it's at home.
So there's your other non-negotiable.
That's it, exactly.
Absolutely. I think it's about people understanding that it's push and pull, not yes and no.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
You can have it all. It's just finding that balance, and it's also asking yourself, coming back to what is it that you really want, and understanding that.
Yeah. If you can't get clear on that, then you can't put a plan in place to get there.
Yeah,
it's like we do get a lot of the time, people think we work all the time because our clients get response and stuff, but the big thing for us is it's like we have little bursts. So it's like we do an hour or 2 in the morning before everyone's woken up, then we have another mid-morning, then we have another mid-afternoon. So it's that we're breaking things up. I think people, we see it a lot with, like, you going back to your studying example, people think they can study for 8 hours. They're not taking nothing in after about 2 hours at the very most, even less. So it's like very much work hard but short, and then focus on something else so you can still make those progresses. So it might be, actually, I'm going to go and make sure I'm getting a good meal in that I'd said I didn't have time to prepare. But actually, if I study a little bit more productively, I then have time to do that. The same as like, I can do a workout, short hip workout. I'll be more productive from doing it.
Yeah, it's something I've been doing recently, and it's been absolutely game changing. Is I work 50 minutes on, 10 minutes off, and it's been absolutely game changing. I can get the same amount of work done, maybe even a bit more in the same time, but all of my work is to a better quality. I'm not mentally like beating my head against the wall like if I tried to do 4 hours straight, for example.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely game changing. And in the mornings, I can probably do like a 90-minute block because I'm really fresh. Yeah. Then you notice as you go through the day, if you bite size those chunks down, it's an absolute game changer.
I think what you've said there as well is awareness is key. A lot of us are like, I don't like to use the term too much, as busy fools. You know, we think because we're busy, we think we're productive, when actually, if you take a step back and be like, well, what have I actually achieved in the last hour? So it's like when we just released a book last month, and that, or the start of this month, and when we were trying to proofread it again, finally for the last time, after we proofread about 5 times, you get fatigue, you know, you get decision fatigue. And if you're constantly trying to focus on that one thing, your level of quality is always going to dip. And it's the same in everything, you know, it's the same with your workouts. Like, you know, we see a lot of people trying to hammer more, thinking more is better. And it's like, actually quality, but less is going to be better. Yeah, have the recovery.
100%. That willpower is a muscle. Protect it, man.
Yes, I've seen your videos about that, actually. Yeah.
So simple, but it kind of hits home with people. It's always about putting things in like simple terms for people, isn't it? Fine. You mentioned your morning routine. Paint a picture for me, mate. What does your morning routine look like then?
So alarm goes off. Alarm is away from my bed, so I make sure I'm getting up to switch the alarm off. If I feel like hitting snooze, I think a lot of people waste time by snoozing. The quality of sleep isn't going to be there anyway. Get down. The first thing I do is kettle on, pint of water, and I sit down with my journal. I look over my achievements from yesterday, and I give myself a little bit of a proverbial pat on the back to get myself in a place of actually sense of achievement. And then I look at gratitude first thing in the morning, the things that I have to be grateful for. Because I think a lot of the time it's easy for days to drift by and not recognize, actually, you know what, I've got like so many fucking things to be grateful for in this world right now. And I think everybody has, if they look hard enough. At the moment, we're a very consumed society, and it's consumption through negative things a lot of the time. We're worrying about COVID death rates. We're worrying about transmission rates, and they're important, but we can lose touch of how much we have to be grateful for. So I do that. Then I'll write out my goals for the day. I like to set 3 simple ones that I know I have to focus to get them done, but they're realistic. So that at the end of the day, I can tick those things off, and I have that sense of sort of achievement. Actually, do you know what? I've achieved something today. And then I might, if I've got other little things that I want to try and push hard to do, I'll put them in, but I'm not going to beat myself up about them, because I'm a big believer that we need to feel positive about what we're doing, as opposed to-do lists are great, but to-do lists are never ending. This isn't a to-do list. This is I must get done today. Otherwise I won't go to sleep. Yeah.
It's a priority list.
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing is with when you have a priority list, a priority has always been singular. It's only the last like 20, 30 years society start to make priorities. You can't have more than one priority. It's either a priority or it isn't. So I think it's important for people to become aware of that. You know, it's like, it is a priority, but, well, it's not a priority if there's a but there.
And like with the priorities, what I found has been really effective, I started using the last few months, is rather than just writing to-do lists and it's like, get this done, it's I will. And then it's like as that confirmation and affirmation to yourself. Well, yeah, I am going to get it done. A lot of people sort of miss that commitment side to things, and sometimes that's how it gets forgotten about.
100%. So I do. So I'm very, very similar, but I do mine the night before. So I get all my clients to start their morning routine the night before. I don't know if you guys have read the book Atomic Habits.
I've seen bits. I get his emails.
You mentioned this about on when I came on your podcast. I think he talks about like habit stacking, and like obviously we talk about your willpower being a muscle. The more you use it, it gets tighter. You can take some of the decision making out, especially when people like you don't even think about getting up, putting a coffee on, having your pint of water, doing your journaling. But if people are starting this new habit, they've got to like think hard about that. They're gonna have to drag themselves. So why not put your glass of water out by your bed so it's the first thing you see? So all of a sudden you've got the cue of that habit. You've started your morning routine the night before. And then for a lot of people, that they're wasting their willpower deciding what they want to do for that day. Whereas if they can decide, because that doesn't take a huge amount of kind of thought process, does it? Actually doing it is what takes the thought process.
Yeah.
So if people can do that the night before, then we can wake up with a crystal clear like plan if they know what they're going to do. So I do mine the night before, but I think that's also because you guys have got kids that in the evenings you'll be spending time with the little ones and things like that.
And it's like our kids at the moment ain't going to bed, so we need to just chill the fuck out and be like, do you know what? I just like dead, you know.
Our brains don't work.
And all of our willpower has been to keep us away from the gin since Wednesday. Like we're like, is Wednesday close enough to the weekend for a gin and tonic?
I love it. But that's been something that's worked really, really well for me. Is just think about starting the night before. It comes back to what you were saying. It's about setting yourself up for success. So many people set themselves up to fail at the moment, man.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people it's not that I think that they're not doing these things. I think that they're not committing when they do it as well. It's like for us, we have this conversation with people journeying because like when we first started heard about journaling, I struggled with it because I was like, I'm a big bodybuilder covered in tattoos. It's not cool to write. It's not cool to emotionally connect. I've got dysgraphia, so I can't read what I've written if I've read like a day later because my handwriting's terrible. So
same here, man.
It took a lot. Yeah, it took a lot for me to do it. And it was only when I started to realize I was just trying to write for the sake of writing, but it's now I'm writing with purpose. And it's like, that's where a lot of people say, how do you stay motivated? And it's like, it's not that we're motivated. We're aligned with our goals because everything we're doing has a purpose. Yeah. And I think once people have clarity on their purpose, you're never going to struggle to do what's required. And we know by simple little things like that, like you said, they're setting your day up to success. You're doing it the night before, we're doing it in the morning, but you then don't need to think about it then because all we have to do is follow it. Yeah, there's days where my 3 things may not happen because something in life's happened, but I know at the end of the day, I can sit there. Did I do the best I could have with the circumstances I was faced upon? If I can say yes, there's no point in stressing about it because that's a negative emotion that isn't going to be productive for the next day.
Absolutely.
It's like you hear that statement, we hear it quite a lot, is I'm just lacking motivation right now. My motivation's gone, my mojo. And then people start looking up quotes and then they start sharing these quotes. And all of a sudden I found my motivation. And it's like, you didn't lose your motivation. You just perhaps don't know why you want something enough to then work for it. Because if you wanted it enough and it was a point where it's going to change your life, anyone would go, do you know what, I'm going to go for it then. I'm going to find a way and I'm going to go for it.
Yeah. Have you heard the phrase that everyone goes either away from fear or towards pleasure?
No,
that does ring a bell.
I've not heard it. No.
So your goals, any goal you set, catastrophize it. What's going to happen if you don't do this? Like on a deep level, like make that shit like the worst thing in the world. You don't run your business. You don't get up. You don't do that. You're not going to be able to put a roof over your kid's head. And then what's going to happen from that? What happens if you do it? You might be able to set your kids up for life. You're going to inspire them to be able to do this, this, and this. Everything like your why. Yeah. All of a sudden, it just paints that clear picture. And you'll notice there's 2 types of people. Most people, about 80% of people run away from pain. Okay. People like, I don't want to go down to the beach and feel unconfident.
Yes. Yeah.
You'll get some people who run towards pleasure. They'll be like, I want to take my top off on the beach and feel like an absolute boss.
Yes. No. Yeah. I've heard that because there's different personality traits, isn't it? And often it's recognized. And I think for us, that's what we found with our clients is different language that people use to try and then help them because they're like Ellie uses this thing of like the first thought people have in the day. And it's understanding that we need to try and cue those things to be sort of help you, serve you, as opposed to put you down. Because you're never going to be like, you can't be the best mom, you can't be the best dad if you're treating yourself like shit. You can't, your kids are going to see that, and kids do what they see, not what they're told. We're finding that out the hard way at the minute.
I think it's like people feel as if like, certain maybe like negative emotions as if it's like a bad thing and you shouldn't feel this way, but that's how you feel. And it's important to recognize and become aware of how we feel and accept it. But then it doesn't just stop there. It then becomes a focus. It then becomes, okay, well, actually, I want to improve how I'm feeling. Why am I feeling like this way? How can I help myself? And that's where you get to part 2. It's often people stop and think, I'm stressed. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm feeling stressed or whatever reason. And then they just stop there and they don't know how to help themselves. And that's the most important factor is listen to yourself. It's okay if you're feeling not so good right now, because life isn't about rainbows and unicorns. It's about finding your way through it. And that's where you then become stronger and you realize, hell yeah, I've done it.
Let's go. Love that. So obviously you set your non-negotiables and your 3 tasks you want to do for the day. What's some of your tips to make sure you get that done and it doesn't take you any longer than it might need to?
keep it stupid simple first and foremost. You know, like everyone wants to complicate things. I think we just need to keep them simple, rather than trying to stretch yourself. Make them realistic is a big thing as well.
We tell each other. So if you can share your non-negotiables with those who are close to you as your support network, they're gonna like help you as well. Because like Ryan will put stuff in my calendar that's to do with him, and I do the same to him. So like when it comes to our training, when we could go to the gym, that was both in our calendars when we'd both train. So we knew, okay, well, we're not going to book anything about it because that's important to us. That's our time out. So we ensure that we both are supporting one another.
It's having that accountability within your non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Yes, and having like, especially if your non-negotiable is something that right now is difficult for you because of routine, life, etc. I'd say it's important to make sure that you're committing fully to doing it, because it's easy to slip back, and there's going to be a point where we often find like after about 3 to 4 weeks where your internal resistance is going to kick in and you're going to want to slip back out of these habits. And that 3 or 4 weeks after that is where the magic starts to happen, and you start to get sort of the reward for creating that habit. So I think it's important to be prepared for a little bit of a challenge with your mind to keep you working to create that habit longer term, as opposed to giving in very quickly. I think a lot of the time people are very quick to throw in the towel, that's not working, or this doesn't work for me, when it's actually you were just about to hit that sweet spot where it became a routine.
Yeah, it's massive. Have you ever seen the meme with the guy with the pickaxe and the diamonds? You like turn
Yes.
it around and he's like, oh, that's literally people with their fitness journey, or literally anything. It's just about be ruthless. I think I always say to my clients, become process driven. Don't focus on that end goal. Focus on the process. Learn to love the process. If you do that, one, you'll stay consistent, and two, you will literally get to where you want to. And it makes it not so overwhelming as well.
Yeah, I actually was just creating a post actually today, because with like postnatal mums, it's like I always find like people are just focusing on the end journey, get rid of the mum tum, get to my baby weight and stuff like that. And it's really important. Okay, you've got all these changes to yourself. You have to enjoy that process of building the foundations, making sure that you know what's coming to the world. You've got a baby, things like that. Making sure that process is so important, because that's not only going to help support your role as mum, but then you will get there. But you have to. It's important to enjoy that process.
Yeah, massively. Slow down and smell the flowers, or whatever the saying is.
Another thing is rest, and I don't just mean like just with sleep, but mental rest as well. Like people are exhausted, you know, we're constantly consumed. I think I've been very guilty of it. You know, so I think for a long time is we're too consumed, and I think it's important for people to get that emotional break from what's going on, you know, like whether it be going out, like I go out for a walk, Ellie will go out for a walk separately, and it gives us that mental break. So it's very much important that you do take that break, you do give yourself it, and not have guilt for it. Because I know it's easy to sit there and think, oh, but I should be doing this for that person, I should be running around doing that. But reality is, like, if you haven't got a healthy mind, you're never going to have a healthy body, and you're never going to have a healthy life. So we need to sort of start working on giving us that mental clearance. It doesn't have to be walking, it's just something. It might be going sitting down reading a book in quiet. I don't know what it is for some people, but finding that meditating for some as well, you know. But I think that mental break is probably more important than the physical training, than the physical of the diet. You know, we have to make sure we're having that mental clearance.
Yeah, it's learning how to switch off. And this is something that I struggled with in the last couple of months. And I was speaking to Kieran, the mindset guy that I've been working with. And one, I set a non-negotiable that phone goes, there's a magical button that has an airplane on it. It means no one can contact you. It's really, really useful.
Yeah.
That goes on at like between 8 and 9 o'clock, depending on the day. And then I'll do I call it a brain fart. And I will literally just scribble, like, doesn't really matter. Like, I'm exact same as you, Ryan. I can't spell for shit. And two, if I look at my page, I wouldn't be able to read it.
So we call it a brain dump, don't we?
Yeah, I've got a brain dump. Yeah. I've got a brain dump.
So like, if I'm really struggling to switch off, I just write 2 full A4 pages of brain fart. And then by the time I get to the end of the second page, I'm so bored that my brain switched off. It's a little tactic, but it can really, really work. Just wrapping up, guys, what's 3 tips that you can give everyone to just absolutely crush it in 2021? No matter what it be, fitness, health, family, business, anything. 3 of your top tips.
The first one, take it one day at a time. Don't stress about the things that could happen, should happen, might happen tomorrow. Let's just have a good day today. If you can make today a good day, you can start again and make tomorrow a good day when you're there.
Always have a reason for why you're doing something. So why you want to crush 2021? Well, what is that end result? How is that going to change your life? And remember that to yourself every single day. Write it down every single day. It's going to change my life because that's going to help you with your choices that you make day to day.
And then the third one I would say is make sure your level of investment is congruent with the level of importance that that goal has on you. And when I say investment, I mean with time, with energy, and with money. So don't say that something's really important, but you're not investing any of those three into it.
100%. I freaking love that. Love that.
Yeah,
That was a really good one. Woo! I love that. I love how you didn't even think about it. It's like Ryan, Ellie, Ryan. So in sync.
I think we just bounce us at each other.
We spent too long together now.
I'll tell you something funny as well. I was sat in that chair, and then just as we were about to go live, because Ellie'd been running around the house and stuff like that, and I was like, wait there, we have to sit this side. Well, I can't and deck, we have sides.
Oh, I absolutely love that. Well, guys, you want to just let everyone know where they can find you, where they can find your book and everything like that?
Yeah, so if they go on to any social media, just find Ellie Hodgson Fitness, Ryan Hodgson Fitness, hodgsonhealth.com. We're pretty responsive. You know, we respond quite quickly.
Yeah, boom. Perfect.
Yeah, we don't bite.
That's a bit, people are always so scared to message coaches, aren't they?
Yeah, it is one of those. And I think the thing for what we find as well, we get a lot of messages, mad as it sounds, on a Saturday night when people have had a drink. Then like we'll get a lot that they don't reply, and it's like we always say we don't judge. You know, like I like all the crap foods and drink that most people think that personal trainers, coaches, people shouldn't be having. So I think it's important that like conversations like this hopefully shows that we're all human and you know we don't bite.
No, massively. We all love a G and a T every now and then, eh?
That's it.
Well, honestly, guys, thank you so much for coming on. I'll leave all the details in the show notes below. And guys, if you can share this to your Instagram story, tag me, Simon Johnson Fitness, and Ryan and Ellie, that'll be absolutely incredible. And catch you in the next episode.